we have worked with Baird. They did some quick and dirty numbers for us. If we want more, we have to go through the formal RFP process. The way the SEC rules work now is that you either have to have a formal RFP that basically goes out, or if we're working with one, they can give us a quote, which they've done. But we can't go and just get one more or two more. So do you want to go to full RFP for this?
Well, how did we decide on this particular one?
This is the one that we had the excellent recommendations from other libraries and from the Village of Plainfield on their bond work and public finance work. We can, whatever the board's pleasure, we had not to this point discussed process, so I gave you something to react to.
So we can either pick one based on recommendation according to the SEC, and if we don't pick one, then we have to put it out to RFP.
Full RFP, yes.
To full RFP.
Yes.
But the
And you
SEC
can-
allows us to.
Because it is a professional service, their rules.
I know the rules are.
Yes, and
SEC
the rules are different if you're a municipal entity or an entity that has multiple bonds and does multiple bond sales, then you have different rules, because then they're a financial advisor as opposed to a bond underwriter, and this is bond underwriter.
Right.
So it's a little bit different rule set than like the village would deal with, because they have multiple sets of bonds and do multiple bond sales.
If we accepted that this might be the place to go with this underwriter, would it behoove us perchance to just let our attorney take a look at what is stated here, so that in some way we are clear in terms of
The attorney
what we
has
do?
seen this
He has seen
it.
letter of
Okay.
engagement,
Okay.
yes. And
It's fine.
Standard.
Probably is
it's
standard.
pretty
but-
standard stuff. If you want to, I can get that out, and we can have those for the next board meeting. However, then, do you want to interview? Who do you want to talk to?
I think part of the problem of having
And when
even several
we
is
can,
on what
we can do
basis
that, yeah.
we would make our comparisons, unless we truly are much more advanced in our own background in this area.
Was this not the group that the Plainfield Village had recommended
Yes.
earlier?
Yes.
And that we had discussed last meeting?
Yes.
As being one of the ones that everybody just kind of goes through? I mean, I'm all for,
They do a lot of business with libraries, villages, etc. One of the advantages of this particular group is that it is the Naperville office of R.W. Baird, which is this huge financial consulting, very large company, lots of clout in the marketplace, et cetera, to get better bond pricing, good connections, but you get more of that personal touch.
small town charm.
Small town charm, because it's the Naperville office, which is like 6 people.
Right.
But they have this big firm behind them, and all of the Chicago office up the road.
I mean, I'm for getting this started. I was for getting it started last meeting before we called the meeting because it was going too long.
What's our timeline on this, in terms of deciding on an underwriter?
The sooner the better.
Okay.
Okay, so the biggest thing for the bond underwriter is that they're going to talk to us about what those numbers mean to the taxpayers. And they're going to help us with, if you do a bond at, and he ran those numbers for you for the last meeting, if you do a bond for 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, if
Right.
that bond is 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, here's what its impact is on the taxes
If your
for
house is this
a
much.
house of $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, so that you get that sense. That whole piece is, anyone could run
Well,
those numbers for
And
us.
is this $750 per $1,000 a pretty standard cap in terms of the fees?
Yes, yes, and as a matter of fact, it's, the bigger the bond, the lower the rate.
Right, right, because they end up making
And-
more as a
yes.
percentage.
For the long-term.
Exactly, because
Sure.
they're making it as a percentage. So it's actually much lower than smaller bond issues,
Mhm.
because the bond issue that we're looking at is in the tens of millions range versus
Yeah.
something in
2
the,
million.
in the 1 to 2.
Yeah. Well, I remember meeting with him, and I was very comfortable working with him. He had a nice presentation.
Yes.
I am comfortable going with this, but I would like
Rubber
to make sure that
meets
everybody
the
is.
road. What you are really buying is their ability to sell your bonds effectively.
Yeah.
And they do not receive dime one until and unless you sell a bond.
Right, right.
So
And then they also have a continuing relationship with us after the sale.
to continue with the, all of the reporting requirements, et cetera, and the back end of all of the legalities of the bond itself, and doing all of the reporting, et cetera, payments.
Well, like I said, I'm with Carl, I mean, I can't speak for the board, obviously, but I was for it last meeting as well. I mean, should we wait for Graham to give his opinion?
Graham, do you have a weigh-in on Baird as bond underwriter?
No, I mean, I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
It's the
All right,
go
then.
to full RFP and talk to different financial bond underwriting folks,
The,
or,
the village has, they use Baird,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been very satisfied, very happy. They've given you free advice so far, been very cooperative. Truthfully, there are people out there who are going to try and sell you a referendum consultant as well,
Right,
with the service.
right. And he made very clear that those were separate things.
And they are,
from what they
and
were
they
offering.
should be.
Right.
Because you either are a referendum consultant or you're a bond issuance. And for me, the two are distinct. Some people do one a lot better than the other one. In most cases, they're bond people, not referendum. People fly people in from California and stuff like that, and they don't know your market. So my inclination would be, if the village is using them and they're doing a good job, why would you want to change at this stage? You know, look at using them.
Well, and again, if these are pretty
Take them
standard
along.
figures, we're not gonna get different information. It's a matter of picking somebody we trust.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
I think we've got ample evidence that this is someone that we can.
yeah.
we've
Does that answer your
gotten
question?
good references
And they're
for
local.
them from multiple sources. I have 4 library references from them, I want to say.
And I think for a consultant, you don't have to go out and get a price proposal.
Professional services, you
Mhm.
do not have to do that.
Yeah.
The board can select who they want to work with.
Right. And if, it just seems to me that they're giving you everything you want. They're very responsive, they're local, the village is using them, they're extremely happy with them. Why bring somebody else into the equation that is going to have to get a learning curve and go through all of that, you can have these guys on board.
And just delay the decision on
Yeah.
our parts,
Yeah.
frankly.
That would be my opinion.
Okay.
So I would recommend that you just, if everybody's happy with that.
And that was why I went
Make the
ahead
motion,
and
Jason.
checked
Yeah.
with a couple of libraries that had sold bonds recently, that we were in the right ballpark on this bond underwriter fee.
Right.
So that, you know, with the recommendations we have, with the fact that the fee is in the right range, that hopefully that was enough.
You've got a fee from them, Julie, have you?
We've got a fee cap,
Yes.
Okay,
$750 per $1,000
okay.
of the public offering price. You know, and then obviously expenses up to
Yeah.
that.
Can you send me that, Julie, and I'll do a cross-check against, I don't think I've got it, maybe I'm wrong, but if you can, then I'll check it too with what we've done in the past, just make sure, but I mean, it's all pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't vary a lot.
Well, then I'd like to make a motion to sign this letter of engagement with RW Brain and Engagement Services for bond underwriting.
Seconded?
I
Or
guess
further
I
questions? Sure.
thought there was, that he was going to look at it now, that was the last.
Or-
thing I heard.
I mean, do you think you want to look at it
Is
first
that-
before we engage them in this, or?
No, I would engage them if it's radically different, and I don't think it will be, then you can negotiate. Because they're not gonna do this until the referendum
Yeah.
passes.
Right.
So
Okay.
you've got a period of time, but,
Then I'll second it.
yeah.
Okay. All right, and this is money, so this is roll call.
Okay. Carl?
Yes.
Crystal?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Sharon? Sure.
All right.
Yay.
New business item number 2.
Can I sit down, Carl?
Please, thank you, Graham. This probably doesn't even involve you, so yes, by all means, relax.
Okay.
Ordinance 2015-1, the public meetings ordinance, which follows, starting on page 66, and Julie's going to tell us all about it.
I just want to remind you that should at any time the board decide they don't like this, that letter of engagement does state that on 30 days written notice, you may terminate at any time. Oh, stay.
Oh, sorry.
There was another, don't go. There he is. Wait, scroll down. Purchase or lease of it.
I was up to 1:30 watching the Hawks last night.
Okay.
We won't go that
We'll
late.
go fast.
1 overtime maximum.
I'll shut up now. All right, sorry.
All right, so we have to set meetings.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I move that we accept ordinance number 2015-1, establishing public meetings. For the coming year.
Okay.
All right.
Second, roll call because it's an ordinance. Crystal? Jason?
Yes.
Pat?
Yeah,
Sharon? Yes. Carl?
Yes.
And just FYI, our schedule for the next fiscal does not vary from the third Wednesday, so that's an easy one.
Just in case you need to know.
It's gotta fit
Okay.
with all the other meetings.
Right.
There we go. Item 3, the non-resident fee card participation for fiscal year 16. We need to give an up or down on this, continuing what we've done for forever.
Since they've required us to actually say yes to this.
Right.
It's a handful of cards per year.
It wasn't only like 12 cards or something?
Yeah. Yeah, like 3, 4
For a
households.
total of like, I think
$700
$700, yeah.
per fiscal year.
Right.
I moved, we continue with.
Non-resident fee card participation for
Right.
FY16.
Yes, thank you.
Second,
All right. And this is
That can be
just
acclamation.
acclamation. Right. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Thank you. Boy, look at that first one just took forever, but now we're flying. Item 4, policy updates, section 6, personnel, being on page 69,
Going on forever.
and continuing until page 742.
This is a dense one, this is a.
Yes, it is, and it includes lots of things. everything from a complete overhaul of drug and alcohol
I wanna
use
know,
testing.
is there anything that is so different from what we did? Because I truly didn't read every word of
Mrs.
it. Because I knew you'd tell me if it was
That's not the president anymore, look at this.
Nope, the biggest change is in the drug and alcohol use policy, and that's because of the whole medical marijuana
Yeah.
Right.
thing, so, yeah.
Possibility.
Oh, and we're going to implement background checks of employees hiring effective July 1. Yay.
I have just one thing, which is on that page 10, which is the drug and alcohol use.
Yeah.
Just to say it's not a business in the community, I think it ought to be labeled as the library, top paragraph. All procedures and guidelines required by this policy for the benefit of our employees, his or her families, the business and the community. And I think it should stay with the library. We are not solely just a business.
Okay,
But that would be the only thing that I know was
all right.
important.
Deb's got it? Okay.
So library instead of business on page 78, which is page 10 of.
Just page 10.
Yeah.
Confusing.
Okay. Anybody else, any questions or suggestions for alteration? All right,
Accept
motion
policy updates for the personal policy. As
as amended?
amended.
Right.
That's one word change. Okay.
Seconded?
Second. Great.
Okay. And that can be,
This one, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Thank you. That passes. Item 5, security camera proposals, which we flip to the end of the personnel policy.
One of the things I would just mention is that when we had our meeting of the Building and Grounds Committee, and we're doing the tour with our maintenance head, that one of the things we certainly were interested in and had recommended it to the board, that we do update our security cameras, because
Yes.
they are not functioning well, et cetera.
Right.
So,
All right, so we have 3 bids being on page 112. D&I Electronics, $9,195. And then HTS at $9,479.
and then the other one was like 12.
Yeah.
And then one that's really, really expensive, and
And Lance recommended, I think, DI as one of the.
And D&I is our current burglar alarm company, et cetera, so we're very comfortable with that.
and it comes in lowest, and they know what's going on.
And they're cool infrared bullet cameras that are high definition, and we should actually be able to get some really good looks at people.
So we can zoom in,
Good.
read the barcodes on the books.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So, one question with all these, with the improvements, is will we be able to take these perhaps to the next building? So if, I mean, we're gonna spend $9,000.
Right.
I don't wanna,
Right.
you know, if in 2 years we have a new building, I don't wanna like spend $9,000
So-
to have $9,000.
Yes, we should be able to take the cameras with us
Okay,
wherever we go.
I just
And
want-
this is a, this software, yeah, and the software is configurable
Okay.
so that we could add cameras.
That was just one of the
Yeah,
things I didn't-
expandable.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there you
It's
go.
one of the things I didn't see in there, and I was just thinking like, you know, we're doing a referendum, and I don't wanna not improve our building, but I also don't wanna like spend the money and then never
Maybe just throw
use it, yeah, half a year later, be like, just knock it down, forget about
Good
it.
observation. Yes.
So as long as we can,
All right.
I move that we accept the proposal from DNI at $9,195.
second,
Second, all right, roll call, please.
Jason,
oh, yeah, yes, sorry.
Pat,
Yeah.
Sharon,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Crystal. Yay.
Pass, excellent, thank you. Item 6 is automatic door opener proposals, starting on page 122. And when I say proposals, I mean proposal, because there's one. And I'll be honest, from Doris.
Okay, what they've actually done is they split it up oddly. One is for the outer door, one's for the interior door, one's for the actual air curtain. That's why it's
Yeah.
So there are
It's
three
split
separate-
into three weird, anyway, if you would like to send this back to Lance to get additional proposals, feel free.
Yeah, this is one where I think
Well,
opening up the bidding
and
process.
this is, just so you know, these bids are much lower than the, what was contained in the building evaluation, partially because at that time they were thinking we were gonna have to redo the entire like vestibule area. This particular product actually fits in the doorways as they exist. So this is retrofitting the existing opening, which could wind up being a big part of
Why we didn't get any
why you
bids.
might not get any more bids, but if we send it back to Lance, we can at least confirm that.
Right. And is this a current servicer that we're using
Uh,
for
this-
existing equipment?
No,
No. This
no,
is somebody new.
but this
Okay.
is someone that we got recommendations for from other libraries that have retrofitted with automatic doors. ADA compliance is really big right now, and it's some of the only things being funded by those very few state grants for capital improvement.
Well, if it is the wish of the board to send this back for a further bid, I would entertain a motion for either that or acceptance of this bid. Anyone
No, I think we need to,
come down on that side of that?
I move that we send this back for further consideration. And if it is that there isn't anyone to consider, then I'd like affirmation of that.
I'll second that.
Seconded? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Passed. Thank you, Lance. Moving on to item 7, which is the strategic plan for FY 2016 and beyond. And as has been discussed, I wonder if we might table this for future consideration,
I think
like
that
not
sounds
tonight's
like
meeting.
Motion.
Motion, second?
Just because of the length and how much detail there is and considering the time, and the
Right.
fact we still need to have an
Rather
executive
than rush
session,
it.
I would prefer to have extra time to think about this.
All right.
But just one quick thing in between,
Yes.
we have update of what was done by Craig when he had reviewed all of this, and it would give us a prioritization,
Sure.
which would also tell us not only what we've done, but what are we looking at.
So the comparatives.
Right.
Right, okay. So we do have a motion to table, seconded?
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
And I'll
Opposed?
update the draft.
Thank you.
there we go. All right, then we are done with new business, and we have reached the executive session portion of the agenda. Do I have a motion? Right.
Oh, I'll motion to take us to executive session for the discussion of purchase or lease of real property.
All right, and in light of that subject, Bill, we would like to invite you to stay for that meeting. Otherwise, we do have to ask the public to clear for the executive session. So, based on our motion, we have a second. Second to executive. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Thank you.